One method I really like using for sensitivity, like finding your sensitivity, I'd say, is actually the PSA method, which is the perfect sense approximation method. And basically, you're going to be taking the EDPI of 280. So the reason why I choose 280 is because 280 is around the average EDPI of pro players. And so what you're going to do is you're going to take your actual DPI. And so personally, I use 1600 DPI, right? Doing the EDPI is 280 and you divide it by whatever your DPI currently is. So you could be using 400, 800, 1600, something weird. I'm not sure. But I personally use 1600. So I would like divide by 1600, right? And I would find this number. Now this is going to be the base sense that you're going to be using to find out what your approximate sense is. So I would highly recommend you go onto Google and search up PSA method calculator. And there's a lot of different websites you can see. Like I can see the perfect sense approximation method and it's a starting sensitivity. So I'm going to put out 0.175. Obviously, it's just going to round out to 0.18 because I'm on a higher DPI. So I would say if you want more of like an actual accurate result, maybe you would want to lower your DPI to like 400 or 800, something like that. 1600 I'd say is getting into like the higher end. Like not many players are using 1600, but some are starting to change, like myself. And there's really no advantage to using a higher DPI other than like very small milliseconds that won't even make a difference really. Yeah, so starting off, you have the PSA method calculator right here and you put in the sense. Now what I want you to do is you're going to go into a deathmatch, unrated, spike rush, anything like that, where you're actually playing a game and you're actually aiming against real players. Now I would say the range, you could kind of figure out what you're going to be doing, but something that's really important with your sensitivity is you're going to have to be able to 180. You're going to have to be able to react to different stuff. You're going to want to make sure that you're not getting tired throughout a game. You have to kind of consider stuff like that when you're actually like finding your sense in playing. So I'm just going to hop into the range right now because I don't want to actually do all the DMs and take the time. But what you're essentially going to do is you're going to start with the lower one or the higher one, whatever one you want to choose, but you want to do one and then the other, and whatever one you feel is more natural to you or whatever one comes like easier for you. So let's say that you have like a really small mouse pad, for example. Surely that the lower sense might be too slow for you and you might just pick the higher one, but that's based on your setup and the way you play. Probably if you have a small mouse pad, you like to use your wrist more and stuff like that. And that's just kind of how you develop your own personal aiming style. And I think it's really good that you keep your aim all natural and you don't really have to think about it. And a lot of pro players actually, when they're playing the game, they don't have to subconsciously think about their aim constantly. That's what you want to strive to achieve. You want to make sure that your aim becomes second nature and it kind of feels like breathing for you, where you can actually focus on fundamental parts of your game while your body and your mind kind of does the aiming for you. So right here,